home to the nest. So you played Overwatch and Valorant. What made you want to play competitive in either of those games?
So in Overwatch, it wasn't necessarily that I was like really looking to compete, but I started playing around the time the game came out, and naturally I was because in Overwatch they offer like golden guns, and I thought those were like a really novel idea at the time. And the only way to get them was through playing ranked. So I was like, okay, you know what? I guess I'll just give it a shot. And I just started to climb. Like the first season I played, I got all the way to Masters. And being above Diamond puts you in top 500 eligibility. So around that time I hit Masters, I also hit top 500 and stuff. And it was around that time I kind of realized that I enjoyed just playing competitive video games and just like climbing, because I think it's like it's a form of like expression and a place to kind of put your focus and attention. And it's a medium that I really enjoy. And that kind of transferred to Valorant when I got into it, especially because it was a game that I wasn't very good at. When I first played Valorant, I was only like platinum. I hated the game. I was one of those people that thought Counter-Strike was way better. But eventually, like, I kind of gave it another shot, and I started to draw a lot of parallels to Overwatch, and that's when it really clicked for me. And I realized that I like competing in it as well.
What makes you, or what draws you to the competitive scene in most video games? Because I know there are some people who prefer casual over comp, and then there's some people who prefer comp over cash, and then there's always the people in the middle. But like, what do you think is the one driving factor that drives you into comp?
So I think the one thing that really gets me like going for competitive like games and stuff is just the fact that the skill ceiling is so high. It feels like I can put my time into a game and I'll still have somewhere to like look up and players above me to learn from. And I'm just really someone that enjoys feeling like they've improved. Like I love seeing like, oh, you know, I started this game 2 years ago, I was plat, and now I'm radiant. Like that does a lot for me. I feel like I'm very like satisfied with my performance, and I know that I can keep going.
Is there a streamer or like content creator that you grew up watching that kind of influenced the way you play or wanting to play in esports?
So I don't think there's necessarily a streamer, but I think the early Overwatch scene in like 2016, 2017 with like IDDQD, XQC, Tim the Tatman, like all those kind of streamers were very entertaining to me. And with the exception of Tim the Tatman, they were all very good at the game. So I just realized that it's like that's the kind of life that I kind of want to put myself into, because I think video games have always been my thing. Like I've been playing games for a long time, so those kind of streamers really inspired me, and especially with Valorant. I don't really watch streamers in general, but I think people like Som are like really good influences in the community, and I personally like studied how he played the game when I got into Valorant, and that's another thing that helped me climb.
Let's see here. What do you think each game's community could learn from one another? That being Valorant to Overwatch and Overwatch to Valorant.
Ooh, that's a good question. Valorant to Overwatch, learn to not be misogynistic. Oh my God. The Valorant community they are the most like horrific people I've ever met. I think it's the most toxic game I've ever played. And I'm saying this as someone that has like 1,000 hours on Counter-Strike and stuff. They just don't know how to treat each other. And I've never seen a community so willing to just give up. Like I'll get into games and round 2, someone will turn off their team chat and just start running it down because someone made a misplay on pistol, and it's just insane. So yeah, I think my Valorant takeaway for things that Valorant could learn from Overwatch is be more respectful of people and understand that you can always win. And then I think for Overwatch, honestly, it's kind of like the competitive drive, because I do think that the Valorant players do like to give up and stuff just because they're so competitive that if they don't see a reason to play the game out, they'd rather just go next so they can try their heart out in the next game. And I think that's something a lot of Overwatch players like don't have, because there's so many like gimmicks and stuff in Overwatch that I see that I don't see in Valorant. Like there's so many Junkrat one tricks, and I say that as a one trick. I only play Soldier, but like people aren't willing to like flex and learn. Whereas in Valorant, that's like you have to, because if someone picks your role, like you're gonna have to switch because eventually there will be a game where your role isn't still locked. So I think it's just flexibility.
All right. So you started with Overwatch and then went to Valorant. What was that transition like? How'd it go?
So it was actually very like spaced out because originally I played Overwatch until like 2018-ish. I quit around the time Brig came out. I think it was like a month or two before Brig came out, I think, is when I quit. And I remember after I quit, I made it such a big point that I was like not playing the game anymore. Like I put it in my PlayStation bio and stuff. Like I'm not playing Overwatch anymore, guys. Don't ask me. Because all my friends would ask me for like coaching and stuff because I was like the only grandmaster in our friend group. But after that, I literally just played random games. Like I played Call of Duty World War II. I grinded Black Ops 3 for a while. And then honestly, for a long stint, I was just playing Roblox. Just hanging out with friends on Roblox. But I picked up Valorant in late 2022. And like I said before, I hated the game. So I put it down for another like 8 months. And then I came back in like early 2023-ish. And I've been playing it ever since.
All right. I think we all have our Roblox phase.
I mean, it's just such an accessible game.
I personally got to door 999. I lost on door. I lost. That was the biggest. I hated that. That was the worst.
Oh my god. I did a Spanish assignment on doors because we had to record like basically just a phone call with a Hispanic person, like a Spanish speaker. And of course, being online for so long, I have a lot of those. So I literally just called my friend from Argentina and I was like, let's play doors. And let's just talk entirely in Spanish.
Okay.
So I think that was honestly one of the last times I've ever played Roblox was that. Like, I have not really touched it since.
I always love asking people this, but especially Overwatch players. What's your take on Rivals?
Ooh. I think Rivals is like such a watered down version of Overwatch. Like, I think the game has a lot of merit and it is fun. Like, I'll definitely say when Rivals came out, this was when Overwatch was in its like dead period where you could just tell the developers were like lazy or just weren't listening to the community because they didn't have any reason to.
Yeah. They
had been the hero shooter in the space for the past 9 years. But once Rivals came out, I was like, dude, this game's awesome. I was recommending it to all my friends. I got one of my friend groups into the game, and they still play it every day, whereas I have it uninstalled right now. But I think as far as the actual game goes, I think Rivals like kind of fundamentally misinterprets how hero shooters are supposed to be, and I think there's a lot of lack of diversity in a lot of roles. Like, support just has Zenyatta ult on like 6 of their heroes, and it's just like, it doesn't feel like you should be playing like Mantis over like Luna Snow because Luna Snow's just got a better ult, and Mantis is only good if you're playing like hard DPS, but at that point there's like better heroes for that.
Mm-hmm. And the fact that there's like 25 DPS or like the 7 support and tanks.
Oh man, I don't even like playing the DPS in that game. I feel like, I don't know, they're so hyper specialized for some, and then others are so general. Like, I feel like a lot of the characters just lack a lot of like a feeling of like someone put a lot of effort into them. Like,
they lack like personality.
Yeah, that's perfect. I think a lot of them lack personality because, like, I don't know. I think Spider-Man is like the perfect example where it's like that character is so fundamentally unbalanced because it's just like you either do so much or you do absolutely nothing, and it's just entirely based on what the enemy support comp is. Like, if they have an Adam Warlock, you just can't play. Mm-hmm. Like, that kind of stuff I just think is like kind of silly, and I think it's reminiscent of Overwatch 1, but I think with the push to Overwatch 2, a lot of the characters became generalists in the fact that they can all be played in a regard. Obviously not the highest level, but they're all applicable to 99% of the play. Mm-hmm. Which I think Rivals just doesn't have. Like, when Rivals came out, I never saw Black Widow, I never saw Spider-Man, and I never saw a lot of the other heroes.
You still don't.
No, yeah. I mean, there's no reason to play Black Widow. That's the one thing I think Rivals gets right.
They turned her into a healer.
Did they actually?
Yeah.
Wait, really?
Okay, so she's not a strategist. They didn't move her, but they gave her a team up where she has a toggle heal. Like, so you can just push one button. She loses the ability to headshot, but she has an AoE heal in her shots. And it's like good healing. It's very good healing.
So
I think it's a team up with Phoenix, I think. And she just, you hit one button and start shooting your teammates and you heal like 25% of their health in one shot. And so she's just a healer now.
Oh, dude. Yeah. I mean, I honestly think that's like a better alternative because I just think sniper characters in video games are like horrible to play against. But no, that doesn't surprise me. That character was so valueless. But what was I going to say? I lost my train of thought.
Oh, that's unlucky. Just go to the next question.
Yeah,
that was a very good answer, so it works.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So you said you stopped playing Overwatch in 2018. Were you like affected by the Overwatch transition to Overwatch 2? Because like I played on a team in high school. Right when that transition happened, and they shut our team down, saying Overwatch 2 wasn't gonna be an esport. And I was like, okay, all right.
I mean, honestly, I don't even think that's like the craziest thing because I do think Overwatch 2 had like one of the roughest starts of any games I've seen. But I'd say yeah, and I still think that is the case because as much as a lot of the characters are generalists, like I said earlier, I think a lot of the characters just can't be played in higher elo, or at least not to as great of effect as other characters. Like, at least I think they buffed her like literally last week, but for the longest time there was no reason to ever play Ashe.
Yeah.
Because it's just like you could either play Cass and have the front to back potential plus the anti-dive, or you could play Widow and have the fact that you can literally just drop someone across the map, which was like the perfect middle ground between those characters was Ashe. But with Overwatch 2 coming out and the loss of your second tank, that made it a lot harder for characters that kind of didn't have like a super hard counter, but kind of just existed to keep existing because a lot of the counters got removed. Like for Widowmaker, there's no longer an off tank, so you can't have your Rhine shield you and then your D.Va dive the Widow, because what's going to end up happening is if you just have your Rhine shielding you, then the Widow's just going to be uncontested whenever the shield drops, or if you just have your D.Va dive the Widow, then you're going to have the 4 other players on the enemy team shooting at you. So I will say I was very affected by it, and especially because I only play Soldier, and that character is never going to be meta, because if he's meta, the game's going to feel like poop, because he's objectively pretty easy.
Yeah.
I asked Cade this last time on the Nest. It'll be the same general question.
Cade?
Or, sorry, not Cade.
Kale?
Kale, thank you, not Cade.
I was like, when do we have Cade on?
Sorry, Kale. I asked Kale this last time on the Nest. I'll do the same general question. If you could design your own hero in Overwatch or your own agent in Valorant, what would they look like?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think I'd have to go with a Valorant agent because I think those are ones I know like fundamentally better. There was actually, so this is kind of tangential, but for the longest time when Teo came out, I had been preaching for a Sentinel that had like a trophy system, like a piece of utility that could break other util as it like comes in. And with the newest agent release, that's what they did.
Yeah.
But I do think the rest of his kit is really obnoxious. So I think if I were to design my own agent, I would take the trophy system as one ability.
Okay.
I really like characters that can do both things. So like I'm a really big Deadlock player because I think she's very versatile in both offense and attack. Or the same thing, offense and defense. So I'd probably also take like the net or something. God, I don't know what my third ability would be. It'd have to be some kind of stall. I wonder. It'd honestly be cool to just have like, I don't know, like kind of like Cypher cages, because I feel like personal smokes are like super valuable. That character would be terrible. That character would have no place in the meta, but that'd probably be my character based on like my favorite abilities in the game.
All right, so I gotta ask, your username changes a lot. So what's the story behind Blue Lobster or Grapple Knife Legend?
Okay, so Grapple Knife Legend, this is like a really long story for just a complete nothing burger, but there was this game I played when I was young. It was a game called Blockland. It's not really important, but the developer abandoned it, and the community was kind of dying around the time I played it. But there was a game mode called Blockland, or not Blockland. That's the game. There's a game mode called Grapple Knife, and basically it's where you just get a grappling hook and you get a butterfly knife, and everyone is like 1 HP, and you're basically just swinging around on a bunch of like base plates in the sky. It sounds really simple. That's because it was, but the skill ceiling was really high, and it was really fun to just like play with my sister. And then the legend part just came from like in 2016, I was watching a Fitz video, and John on the Radio was named RuneScape Legend. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna add that. Like, I'll just be Grapple Knife Legend. Mm-hmm. I never changed my name since. And then Blue Lobster was kind of just an off name, because I had no idea what I wanted to name myself for Valorant. Because my username on all platforms is Max Lego Man 1. My name's not Max, and I don't play with Legos anymore. Like, this is a username I made when I was like 6. My sister helped me make it. So I was like, I gotta kind of like grow into some bigger shoes, because like I'm not gonna be like a child's username anymore. And then I just chose something stupid. Like, I think for the first time, my name was like Crustacean. And then I changed my name to like Mollusk Muncher, and then I was like, you know what, I'll just be Blue Lobster, because there's that one like bait and switch meme where the blue lobster with like that classical music playing.
Yeah.
So that was the inspiration for that. And then I came to Phobos because that's just an anagram for my real name, and it's also very like similar to Phobos, which I think is a cool word, and it's also the name of the Greek god of fear, because I'm such an awesome edgelord. Yeah, that's my username history.
Because I remember on Media Day, like, Dan would ask me for your photos, and I was like, I don't have a Phobos. I have a Blue Lobster. I don't know who Phobos is. And then I look, I'm like, oh, it's Bishop.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't really, like, consult anyone on changing my name. I didn't even know if, like, the leagues allowed me to do it. I kind of just did it.
What's one toxic trait you have as a teammate, but, like, in a fun way?
Oh, that's like, there's like 2 different things. I definitely like to like rag on people like in the round. Like, we could be in a match, and like if I get baited, I'm just like, oh my god, dude, Wes, you're so fucking terrible. Like, why are you fucking baiting me? I don't know if I'm allowed to say, but I'll like say like,
if it needs to be cut, in case it will deal with it.
Okay,
yeah.
Sorry, but like I'll like joke flame, and it's like cool when I'm with the guys, because they all understand that I'm not serious. But when I do it in ranked, oh my god, people get so mad, because this leads into my other thing, is I'm very monotone, and Gannon has gotten on me about it before, where I just have no sense of urgency, like, ever. They could be 5-man running down my site, and all of my teammates are across the map, and I'll just be like, guys, I think there's 5 here. They're hitting me. They're out. I'm fighting. I'm dead. And there's just no like emotion. So it's like people have no like sense of urgency to like come to my aid. So it definitely affects when there's like a timing. Like, if someone gets like timing in the smoke, and I'm like, dude, behind you. They just timing you in the smoke, like just behind you. It's like that they just don't hear me. I just don't like speak with enough emotion.
So I should have asked this at the beginning, but why did you choose Ball State?
So the reason why I chose Ball State is I was kind of between Ball State, IU, and Purdue. I wanted to go Purdue originally, and I wanted to go for visual effects and animation, because that's what my sister went for, and I thought it was like very interesting. But I was also trying to pick up 3D modeling like over the summer before, and I was just like kind of bad at it, but like I was actually putting an effort to like learn. So that's what I originally applied for. And it was also because my sister, when she went to Purdue, that major was so empty that they combined it with another major. So if you were going down that path at the end of your tenure at Purdue, you would have 2 degrees in 2 different majors. So I was like, that's a pretty good deal. And that's probably only like 30% more work, to be honest. So I was like, that'd be a no-brainer. Like, I should do that. So I applied to Purdue, and they said no. But I called their admissions after, and I was like, hey, like, why'd you guys say no to me? And they were like, oh, we're already full. And I'm like, oh, that's great. And then they were like, if you went exploratory, you could have came here. But unfortunately you didn't, so tough luck, buddy. So I was like, okay, that rules out Purdue. And then I was between IU and Ball State. And when I toured Ball State, I saw the Esports Center, and it was kind of like, I understood at that moment, like, that was kind of like my calling. Like I wanted to do esports, wanted to try it because I'd always been like high elo in games whenever I like really applied myself. So yeah. And I think another just small thing is like Ball State's admissions and stuff are like so nice.
Yeah.
Like they'll send you birthday like letters in the mail and stuff, even when you're not like officially a student. Like even if you're just applied, like they'll treat you with a lot of respect and they'll treat you like a human. Whereas I think IU didn't really do anything to win me over. Like they kind of just existed in the space, so they weren't really my top choice.
Oh yeah, it's my turn, isn't it? Let's see here. I have a few fun ones. If you had to play one match on 10,000 DPI, how confident are you in winning that game?
Ooh, we're losing. we lost. But I could probably do something like really dumb and play like an absolute like brain rot playstyle, like absolutely drooling on myself. Like the Odin is so broken. That weapon is insane. And NRG literally won champs off the back of the Odin. And Riot still hasn't nerfed it for some reason. I've started to pick it up in my ranked games, and you don't have to play. Mm-hmm. You have one button. You don't need WASD. You don't need your ability keys. You don't need your ADS. You don't need your push to talk. You need nothing but your left mouse button and a choke.
Okay.
That's all you do. So I think I could win, but I wouldn't be like an honest player. I'd just be cheesing the most OP gun and playstyle in the game.
That's real.
And then if you could... I don't know why I wrote uninstall. If you could delete, I think would be a proper word. If you could delete one ability from either game, what would you get rid of and why?
Ooh.
It's gonna be an ult. It can be just a general ability. It can be like a passive.
There's so many things that I hate with both games. I'm not gonna lie. I think Widowmaker as a character is ridiculous, but I have to delete an ability. So I'd probably go with ISO Shield.
Okay.
Because I think it's just unwinnable. Like if you are playing against an ISO of equal skill and you peek him at the same time and you guys are both ready and you stop and shoot at the same time, like Mexican standoff style, turn around, shoot, he's going to win every time because he just has one bullet of a freebie. And it really shows up in ISO ults where it's like, I can peek someone, shoot first, and then lose the gunfight because, of course, he just has one bullet on vulnerability. And I think that's good for like ops and stuff. Like I think that has like its merit in the balancing system, but like against rifles, I think it's so miserable.
Mm-hmm. Is it? This was a thing. Is it still the case where if you crouch before you pop shield, the hitbox is still weird?
No, they patched that.
They patched that? Okay.
No.
That was an old thing.
Yeah.
I was wondering if that
I don't think I've seen the misshapen pill bottle ISO in a long time.
Right. So off that kind of fun question, if you had to choose one game, you're only allowed to play one of the two. Would you play Overwatch in its prime or Valorant in its prime?
I didn't play Valorant in its prime. Actually, Valorant might be in its prime right now, but there was definitely, like, I feel nostalgia for, like, the 2022 era because that's, like, the year I technically first started playing. But I think the game was, like, broken and, like, everyone just played Chamber, and I'm not a Chamber player, so I'm probably going to have to say no to that. Whereas Overwatch has such, like, prime nostalgia factor for me. And honestly, I think Overwatch is in its prime right now. As someone that's played on and off since it came out, I think the devs are really listening for once, and they're doing a lot of things right. They added loot boxes back. They're adding new heroes. They added perks, which I love the perks. Yeah. I think Overwatch has such a new breath of fresh air with the perks. But just for the sake of the question, I think I'd say prime Overwatch, and I think I'd say that would be like 2016. Because I think the 2016 like Overwatch environment was a gaming space like I've never experienced before, and since. It just felt like it felt like tight knit, but literally there were like tens of millions of people playing the game at that time. But it felt like everyone was just like having a good time, and the Overwatch memes at the time were like hilarious to me.
That's how I felt because I played right when it came out. Oh, Prime Bastion. At that time, I loved playing Bastion.
I miss Bastion's turret form so much.
I do too. So, more questions. Okay, I'm gonna do a fun one. You're a big Dark Souls fan.
Yeah.
Yes, we had me and you had this one night where we were going back and forth about Dark Souls.
Yeah.
What's your favorite game and your favorite boss fight from Dark Souls?
Ooh. Counting or not counting Bloodborne?
You can count it.
Okay, favorite game is Bloodborne, but it's probably tied with Dark Souls 3. My favorite fight is like impossible to say because I could be like very generic and say Slave Knight Gale because he's really good and his narrative's like insane. But I really enjoyed the Orphan of Kos from Bloodborne, and he absolutely whooped me. He was the first and only boss I've ever had to like take a break on. And this was after I had already played like all the other Souls games, so I was like fairly experienced with the game at this time. But yeah, I had to go to bed and try it again. So I'd say just because he was the hardest for me, I'd say him.
All right.
I'm gonna go on a little tangent here. I want to answer this question too.
Okay.
I'd love to hear it.
My favorite game is Sekiro,
Yeah.
hands down. I think Inner Genichiro is probably the best fight I have ever fought ever. I love Inner Genichiro, and I would think if I had to stick with Souls though, I think I would go. Well, that's a rough one.
That's impossible.
Yeah,
There's so many. There's
It's
so many
hard.
good Souls bosses.
I think I'd go with Lorien and Lothric.
That's honestly that's ball knowledge. I think that's ball knowledge. I think that's a great boss fight.
Okay, and then now that I'm done answering, what is the funniest call out you've ever heard in comms? Like any story behind like a call that you heard?
So we have a call out just called.
Okay.
It's sunset. It's in mid. Like it's a little like bar graph looking pillar
Okay.
right next to market, and we call it just because that's what it's shaped like. Like it's just two lower ones and then a taller one.
I can understand.
Yeah, and it's also way shorter than like all the other ones. Like we used to call it like courtyard and stuff like that, or like pillars, like stuff like that. Like it's just shorter.
Yeah. Casey, please keep that in.
Keep it in.
Casey, please.
He could just use a beep sound.
Yeah, that's fine.
So I have two questions. So first one, you said you played on PlayStation. So I gotta ask, I'm a big Last of Us fan. I'm a big PlayStation person. Have you played any of like PlayStation originals like Spider-Man, Last of Us, Uncharted?
Until Dawn.
Until Dawn is also so good.
So I have, but it's not any of the fun ones. I played Knack. And I remember Video Game Donkey made like a whole video on Knack, and it was like when we got it, that was like the thing between me and my sister. Is we would just, every morning we'd just go home, just play Knack. But no, I haven't played like Until Dawn or Uncharted or any. Actually, I have played Uncharted, but it was like one of the earlier ones. It's like Uncharted like 3 or something.
Okay. So my second question is, what was your first FPS?
Ooh. It was Call of Duty World at War on the Wii.
Yeah.
On the Wii, because in the campaign you could do 2-player, and instead of it being like conventional like split screen, like you're controlling one person, the other person's controlling the other, it was you have one person like playing, and then you have another person that's kind of like also playing, but they're just like a crosshair where you literally just shoot things, but you're just shooting things on the main player's screen.
Yeah.
That's
so
crazy.
I just make my sister play, and I just be her like fire support. But dude, I played that when I was probably like 5.
Yeah.
I was young.
I'm pretty sure I did the same. It was on my dad's original Xbox. Though,
Yep.
I think.
Yep.
It was mine. I played. I remember. I went to his house. And I think my mom gave specific instructions on don't let him play Call of Duty, because she knew he had it, and Dad was like, "You want to play Call of Duty?" I was like, "Yes, of course I do. My 6-year-old brain would love this game." And so I played, I think, one campaign mission, and my dad, trying to follow my mom's instruction, was literally, you can only throw grenades, you can't shoot, you're not allowed to use the gun. And so I remember, I think I just played the intro mission where you're not given a gun, you're just given grenades and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that was my experience.
I think I'm hearing like a lot of like similarities every time I ask that question, because I also started playing COD at like 4 or 5 with like Modern Warfare and Black Ops. Man, they should not give me a mic. That should
Oh
not have
my
been a
gosh.
thing. So you're a junior now. You're about the same. Are you?
Yeah,
Junior?
I am
Okay.
a junior.
So is there like a favorite memory you've had so far? Here.
Dude, I have like so many fond memories. Like I know that this is gonna be like something I'm gonna miss when I'm out of college. But there's been a lot of ups and downs. I think one of my favorite memories was just like ESC, not the actual playing part of it, but just like being in an Airbnb with all my friends and just like waking up and just like watching Challengers games on the couch together and stuff like that. But there's also just like general things that I miss a lot. Like I miss Classy. He was one of our Korean abroad students and he was really good at the game. He was Radiant when I was like an Ascendant player, and then I finally caught up to him. But he was really funny, and there's so many memories where I just remember he'd get tilted and just satchel down mid and just die, and he'd just go, I'm gonna swear again, but he would just go like, oh, I just miss Classy so much. But yeah, I also miss Andrew Choku, even though he wasn't on my team. But there's just so many there's so many multiple. There's memories with people, I think, more so than just like specific memories. But if I'd have to give a specific memory, I'd have to do it.
So I'm going to end it here. I've been Trinity.
I've been Turner.
And I've been Bishop.
And this was The Nest.